After building a 60,000 per hour bone meal farm, no bone block crafter in Minecraft Bedrock edition could keep up with it. So I made my own. Whether you're using a fish farm, skeleton farm, or full mob farm, I'm going to show you two different systems. So for your bone to bone block conversion, we have either this simple one, or we have this ridiculously overpowered one. This overpowered one can keep up with any fish farm in Bedrock edition. It is that good. To build this simple one, here's the items that you'll need. And to build this overpowered one, this is everything you're going to need. And for your convenience, if you only wanted one part of these, you'd need that for the shulker loader, that for the crafter, and that for the sorting stream. The sorting stream includes this double speed sorter, as well as all the stuff to make the stream work. You don't necessarily need glass for the stream. You can use any solid block. Most people use glass, and iron bars, window panes, whatever. You'll need 3 non-stackable items, and then you'll need 16 filter items, which you will need an anvil to name them. The smooth stone can be any solid block. And if mud's difficult, you can actually substitute it for soul sand. So we'll start with this super simple version, because the principles are similar to this one, and this may be everything that you need. This version is 5 blocks deep, 3 wide, and of course 2 tall. And you'll need something on the front, whether that goes to storage or into double chests or whatever. Start by putting down 2 crafters. This back one, we want to block all of them so that there's only one in the middle, or wherever, but in the middle's good, and leave all of those open. 2 blocks next to those with dust on both. Put a hopper into there. If you want to fill it up faster, you can actually do something like that. So say for example, you had a double chest or a double filter coming out, it would be in there and that would speed it up twice the speed. Out the back, we need a 3x3 area with a solid block there and there. So it's this sort of pattern. Comparator there, comparator there, dust, dust, dust. A hopper there with the 3 non-stackable items. That just tells this comparator don't do anything until this one actually has items in here. Then a repeater in there, and I always like a solid block on top of this just so that it doesn't mess it up when items fall in. And that's everything. If we put bones into this top hopper, it's going to go, so it filters into here and then it fires and fires out the bone blocks. So if we had a chest there, it would fire it into the chest. Now let's tackle the overpowered one. This is 11 by 11 and it is 7 tall. So we have our 11 by 11 area. We're going to face it exactly the same way as this. I usually start from the water stream because that's usually the part that is connected to the rest of everything. Now with this, I forgot to mention before, just make sure that you have it inside one chunk. It'll make your life easier. And if you absolutely can't have it within one chunk, don't let a chunk border run along here. Otherwise, these hoppers won't pick it up. We're facing this way. I've come to the back, come in, and 1, 2, 3, 4. And then on the 5th one is going to be where the ice is going to start. Now, I imagine that this comes from, back to your farm or something like this. For the purposes of this, I'm just going to put a glass block there. So from this, we come out 3 more, turn the corner and go 7 this way. And then 1 block there just to help things slide better. Grab your glass and take it to the edge there. Double chest, so crouch and put a double chest like that. Don't need that. Then we take our metal bars, they can be iron, they can be copper of any weathering, or you could use window panes. And let's just run that there, put the button there, and the water goes in there. We'll leave the rest of the water stream for after. At this spot, we want 2 downward hoppers like that. So there's a 2 block gap between there. We want to put 2 temporary blocks underneath there so we can have our crafters, all of them facing in the same way. Get rid of those. And then from on top, we crouch and we have 2 hoppers facing down into the back crafters. And from underneath, we crouch and we face it into, the top ones go into the hoppers and then that one goes into there. So just so that we're oriented, these ones go down and then it goes across and down and then also goes like that. Now let's grab our solid blocks and we put 2 like this. Then underneath that we have 2 more out so that we have 2 there, 2 there, and then we break these. redstone dust on all of these with glass on there, redstone dust there, and comparators facing out so that we have this. Put torches on there to lock those, and then we need to set up the filters. I'll go from this side just so that you can see it easily. That's the pattern that we've got. We start with this one, and I recommend that you rename these. You're going to need 8 named one thing and then 8 named another thing. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to put bamboo on one side, and then I'm going to use sticks for the other one. So we have the items named one thing, and these need to be stackable to 64. Bamboo with 64, and then above, we use bamboo on the bottom one, so we need a different filter item here. And then we just need one item in there. Because as the farm runs, whether it's a skeleton farm or a fish farm, whatever, it will fill up those. We just need to let it know what should go there. So we start the bottom one, bamboo with 64, and sticks with 1. And these filters are all set up and ready to go. So let's do the crafty bit. Underneath here, crouch, and we put 2 target blocks like that with a torch underneath. That way, when one activates, it's going to activate all 4 of them. Down and to the side, we're going to have these redstone dust on there, and crouch and place 2 solid blocks like that. Then we come out, 4 out like that, and 1 there. So we have that going in there and 1 into the side of that. And then we also have a comparator there. We need a repeater going there. So we have this, and then dust there, and then so that, like, you could get away with dust except for the fact that it will run into the back of this and form a weird clock thing. So we're going to have that going to there, and this is going to send a signal into this block, which pushes it down onto this dust and then fires all that. Come around to the back of this, and then looking at the comparator, crouching down. It can be pointing anywhere, it doesn't matter, it just makes it easier to put it in survival. Then we want to put our 3 non-stackable items in there with a solid block on top, just so that nothing falls in and ruins everything for us. So now we use our right click or whatever to block off those. And the same thing for this one. So then when a bone comes in, it's going to craft it into here, and then all of these are empty, and it'll craft it into the bone meal and into the bone blocks. Make sure that this one is on subtract mode. So basically what's happening, this comparator is reading the signal out of this crafter. So when there's bones in here, reading it, and it's firing it out real quick. I mean, look how quickly it crafts, because we've got this fastest comparator clock right here firing straight into it. So now let's build the shulker loader, and then we're done. So I usually like to have a temporary block there to signify that that's the shulker. Helps me fit everything around. So we're going to have a hopper into there and a hopper into there. You can build it on the other side, it really doesn't matter. Just make sure that the output from there, because it's not going to be like super fast output from here. We want the super fast input on this side. So this is going to be our shulker. Underneath is going to be the mud block, and I want to have the chest there. Doesn't matter where the chest is. Do what works for you. But we need to have a hopper going into there. Then we've got a solid block coming out with a comparator. On this side at the top, we're going to have a trapdoor. That comparator is going to go into a solid block. Going to have another solid block there with dust on there. Come around to this side. I'll put a piston facing down like this, with a torch on the back. Redstone block with dust on top, and then to make our lives easier, 2 temporary blocks behind it. Come around to this side. Back one's going to be a crafter. Front one's going to be a dispenser. Flip that back down again. And we can get rid of these temporary blocks. Into the crafter. We want to block off sides like that. And then put shulker shells there with a chest on there. So this will craft the shulkers as we go. Put dust on there. That's going to craft a shulker. And to get things started, we want to put a button there. Press that. And it's going to craft a shulker, and it's going to put another shulker in there. So we've got one there. You can add extra ones. Just don't fill it up completely with shulkers, because this is an on-demand crafting setup. And so as the blocks are crafted, they will go into this shulker box, then they'll be broken and put into here, and everything is almost ready to go. I just like to put solid blocks on top of these like that, just so that, you know, occasionally I'll get like fish in there or whatever and it'll mess things up. And so I just like to do that. And it's included in the material list. So let's finish off this water stream. Let's run our glass or whatever down here. Let's put some temporary blocks here. The lava that we're going to do for this is actually going to be 2 spaces because some of the items may flow along here. Most of them are going to flow along here. So let's surround this with glass. Good to do it with glass just because we're dealing with lava. So we have that, and then we're going to have a button there which is going to block that. Let's put one more bar across there. Don't need that. And put your water across there. So then all the items are going to travel along. Some of them are going to be picked up by there. Some are going to go there. I usually, when I first start, I usually put some hoppers and stuff down here just to test that the filters and everything can keep up with the speed of the farm. And once I'm happy with everything, then I put the lava in. If you have fire tick on, make sure you use a stone button there. And then we just put a lava there and everything is all good to go. We're all done. Hook this up to the back of your farm. You can extend this out further into more sorters if you have more items falling in or whatever, but that is how you build this. I hope you found this bone crafting sorter system useful. Let me know if you build it in your world. I'll see you in the next one.